I utterly condemn the far-right thuggery we've seen this weekend.
They are scenes that are now happening daily in towns and cities across the country. In Bristol, there were clashes as police tried to keep apart a group of far-right protesters.
Shit. I want to do fun things! God! When I actually first started to post videos on YouTube actually properly, that video where I did say that I didn't really want to intentionally get involved in anything controversial or anything, it's funny. When I started streaming, I said, you know what? I'm not going to get involved in anything controversial. I meant that. I genuinely meant that. Never been my intention to be someone who's going to get involved in the political commentary scene or the serious commentary scene. I honestly just want to do YouTube for fun, genuinely. But I can't really sit here with the England flag behind me and not comment on the last few days. It would be weird. So yeah, the England flag was only put up there for the Euros. That was it. It was meant to come down after the Euros, but then I started on YouTube, in earnest, putting videos up there, and God forbid, a few people actually watched my videos. And so then I kind of thought, shit, I need something in the background. I can't just take that down and have a bare wall again. That's going to look rubbish. But I haven't really got anything right now to replace it with. So the England flag stays, for the moment anyway. It stays. And then, of course, this all happens. So now, here I am, a YouTuber with an England flag in the background, looking like I'm making some kind of political statement when it's only meant to be up there for fucking football. But no, now all of this is kicked off. That wasn't a footballing pun. But now this has all started. And there are a couple of things I'm going to say, and then I'm going to leave it, and then I'm going to just say, you know what, that's it. I'm going to talk about it one time, and then I, frankly, don't think anything good is going to come about talking about it again and again and again. So, yeah. The first thing I would say is I like to try and be consistent with my feelings on topics and just the way that I treat things, the way that I treat people and treat scenarios and everything. When the BLM riots happened in 2020, I was critical. I was critical despite some people telling me I shouldn't be, because I didn't support the idea of the violence. I 100% thought they had every right to protest. COVID be damned, I thought you should have a right to protest no matter what. But I drew the line at the burning of property, the burning of cars, the damaging, someone died if I'm not mistaken, like the looting. I drew the line at all that. I was like, no, that's not the way to go. And honestly, yeah, okay. It's hard to treat everything equally sometimes when you've got your own personal bias. It is. But when it comes to this, what's happening in England now, I feel the exact same way. This is not right. This is not the way to go about it. This, if anything, is the worst thing that people who genuinely feel like they want to put their point across can do. All these riots and this violence is doing is giving politicians and giving opposition the opportunity to turn around and say, look, these people, they're just thugs. Why would we listen to them? But that's kind of one of the biggest takeaways for me from this that I've noticed. And I think it's that when I look at the reaction to it in general, we have a problem. And that problem is that the media have got to stop this telling everyone it's far right this, it's far right, far right, far right, far right, far right, far right, far right. I'm sick of hearing about the goddamn far right. Can we please stop calling everybody far right? Because I look out there and you know what? Is there a far right contingent in the UK? Yeah, of course there are. But look at how many people are out there on the streets over the weekend. We're going to stop calling everybody who is just going out there to make their feelings known far right. This is no longer just the far right. It's not. I'm sorry. And by saying it's just the far right, all you're doing is antagonizing things more. I think the more that the media are actually saying this is the far right, all they're doing is antagonizing normal people, because I really think this is just a lot of normal people. Whether or not you want to believe it or not, there are opinions and feelings that have permeated through this country now, and they have gotten to a lot of people, and people really do feel like this country is falling away from them. They really do feel like they are losing their home. You don't have to agree with that. You don't have to believe that they're right. You don't even have to think that they're entirely sane if you don't want to. If you really want to go that far with it, I wouldn't personally, but we've reached this point where I have an England flag in the back of my room here. And some people will think that alone is a political statement. That's not a political statement. That's why I've explained that it was up for the Euros. Because I know just by having the flag behind me, people will think it's a political statement. People will think I'm far right. People will think that I, a disabled guy in the UK, is a far right fascist, for whatever that's worth. The country is a community. A very big community, but it's still a community. And I think at this point we've reached a point where normal people in the UK, maybe they are lashing out at something that they can see. And I also think that, for what it's worth, I think Keir Starmer's made it worse. Sorry, I do. For Keir Starmer to come out, look at all of the people out there, his people. Now, he is the Prime Minister. And for him to come out and say, it's just far-right thugs. How is that going to calm things down? How is that going to get them on side? How is that going to bring people together? It's not. And the thing is, we've got this problem now where I've got the journalists, you've got the journalists telling you this is just the far right. It's just the far right doing this. Those evil far right Nazi fascists, those white supremacists, it's just those people. But while they're saying that, I see something else. And so I have to decide, and you have to decide, what do you believe? Do you believe what the journalists, the people who are supposed to bring the news and information to you, do you believe those guys? Or do you believe your own eyes? Because they're not saying the same things anymore. And that's a problem. That's a big fucking problem, because that means that now we don't trust what we're being told. And a lot of people do not trust what they're being told, and so they're making their own conclusions. And we know where that leads, because we're seeing it. We've seen it this weekend. We've seen it a lot. This calling people the far right over and over again, it's gotta fucking stop, man. We've got to start talking to people in general. Everyone. Open it up to everyone. Stop ignoring people by just saying they're far right, fuck them, we're not going to talk to them, we're not going to acknowledge them as even human beings, we're going to take away all their rights if we have to. We're going to take away all their rights if we have to, we're just going to forget about them. Then they're scum. Because there's too many people now who feel this way. It's not a fringe contingent, and they're not the far right. It's your mum, it's your dad, it's your brother, it's your sister, it's your grandparents, it's your son, it's your daughter, your niece, your nephew, your cousin. It is people you know. It's your best friend. It's friends in general. Associates, people you went to school with. It's normal people. And too many people feel this way. And if you're going to keep saying to a growing population of people in the UK that, oh, you're just far right, you're just far right scum, and you're going to use the label far right to denigrate them and shush them up and villainize them, you're making things worse, and you're making things a lot worse. I don't think there's anybody out there who's outright denying that there is a far right contingent. But this isn't it. There are far right antagonizers in the middle of it, sure. But those crowds of people, those people who are elderly, those 80-year-olds who are in the crowds, you know, those regular mums and dads, those people. God damn it. It's not even all white people in the first place. So apparently we have some non-white white supremacists out there somewhere. And a group of them at that. It's not just the far right. We have to stop with the far right, far right, far right, far right, far right, far right.